Hello, my name is Keith, and this is part of a series of videos providing program development opportunities for nonprofits. These videos may help you determine a better way to manage programs and avoid common mistakes. This video is about how to develop a gifts in kind program for your church or agency. If you like these videos, please do subscribe to my channel. For the gifts in kind process is to provide gifts in kind to meet the needs of low income residents through distribution to your strategic initiatives, to partner agencies, to nonprofit community agencies serving populations identified as strategic initiatives, and then finally, nonprofit community agencies simply serving the community. That's the priority process that I used when I did this before. Gifts in kind are to be used to support strategic initiatives or community nonprofit agencies. Gifts in kind should not be provided to staff specifically unless designed to support all staff, example, PPE during COVID. The policy for gifts in kind. The following summary details a policy for accounting for goods and services donated by individuals, corporations, and their employees, foundations, Good 360, and other not for profit organizations. In kind gifts represent non cash goods and services. In kind gifts can be in the form of conditional or unconditional promises to give. In kind gifts are recorded as contribution revenue with a related offset to expense when it is distributed. Good 360 purchases should be first choice over obtaining items from other sources until you have met your value goal. In kind gifts, revenue, and expenses are recorded at fair market value, otherwise known as FMV, most often defined as the quoted market value of the goods or services. In kind gifts are accepted and recorded at the agency's facilities only. Next is the valuation. Contribution revenue is measured at the fair value of the assets or services received or promised. Fair market value is measured by quoted market prices at the time of donation. If quoted market prices are not available, fair value can be estimated based on one of the following: the quoted market prices for similar assets. A quick Google search can help you with that. The assets replacement costs, individual appraisals of the assets' fair value, or other valuation techniques such as discounting the estimated future cash flows. Valuation from the donor at time of donation is the preferred method for determining the value of non-cash donations. However, when that information is not available, the agency refers to quoted market prices as published in area retail catalogs or on websites. So, different departments have different responsibilities. For the finance department, they would work with logistics to be responsible for the selection of the gifts in kind items from Good 360 or other retail or corporate sources at the gift in kind monthly meeting. Uh, Finance also maintains all inventory records. Finance department will be given updated inventory records monthly. Recording the in kind revenue and expenses inventory in the financial software. In kind revenue and expenses inventory will be recorded monthly. Reviewing the valuation and documentation of all inventories. Finance reserves the right to adjust the assigned value of any in kind donation to accurately record it at FMV, and completing a physical inventory of the gifts in kind items at the end of the fiscal year. It's important to note that accurate recording of the gifts in kind does help on your 990 at the end of the year, so you can um, show that in your 990 to offset the other items in your accounting. Then the responsibility of the logistics. With the finance department, they'll be responsible for the selection of gifts in kind items from Good 360. I mentioned Good 360 because that's the primary gifts in kind site for nonprofit agencies. They can go to Good 360 as an agency that is approved under their program to receive items at sometimes free but at low cost amounts to as gifts in kinds to assist your community. So you select from Good 360 and other retail or corporate sources at the Gifts in Kind monthly meeting. What I mean by retail or corporate sources, I had many relationships with other agencies like Walmart and other corporate, usually big box companies who would provide items specifically to your program or your Gifts in Kind program. You would just go, when they let you know, you would go pick up those items and then distribute it to your agency or your partner agencies. You also consult with partner agencies and grant programs to determine what their needs are. If you can identify specific needs of an agency, you can search for those items from the different sites that you get your goods from. Calls, contacts from individuals and partner corporations wishing to donate in-kind gifts are directed to your department. The logistics department determines whether to accept the gift. The logistics department will consider the agency's relationship with the individual or company and the potential liability to the agency when making that determination. Logistics department will consult with fundraising and finance when appropriate. If there's no resolution, the president of the agency then makes the final determination of whether to accept the items or not. Donated items. You arrange for the acceptance of the donated items. Ensure that the donor completes an in-kind contribution of products or services form. The agency staff will provide a copy of the form to the donor and then also file a copy of keep a file of a copy of the form. Enter the donated items into the Gifts in Kind inventory records and prepare a Gift in Kind thank you letter that you send to the donor and retain a copy for your own records. Again, going back to discussion about Good 360, order items from Good 360 upon approval from your monthly Gifts in Kind meeting. If any staff wishes to make orders, they must bring those requests to the Gifts in Kind meeting for approval. And I'll provide information on Good 360 on this video about how to make those connections, how to become an agency that works with Good 360. Track what is ordered, the purpose, and how and when it is received or delivered. Print and file documentation of the value of the items ordered at the time that the order is made. Arrange for acceptance of the donated items and complete a detailed inventory of all received items within 7 days of receipt, and then enter all items into the Gifts in Kind inventory system by the last day of the month of receipt. And then for distribution, work with the logistics department to determine the recipient of all donated items. Arrange for delivery or pickup of donated items by recipients. Ensure that the recipient completes the donation acceptance agreement form and provide a copy of that form to the recipient and retain a copy for your records. Enter all distribution records into the Gifts in Kind inventory system by the last day of the month of distribution. Distribute donated items within 60 days of receipt. Items are in storage for more than 60 days unless otherwise approval will be distributed to partner agencies. Whenever possible, recipient agencies will provide manpower to assist with the logistics of the Gifts in Kind process. If inventory is available, recipient agencies will be able to pick up donations directly to streamline the process. So now we go to storage of items. Storage of items are used in priority to support disaster response and recovery, to support internal initiatives, to support your campaign, your fundraising campaign and marketing, and then also for temporary storage of Gifts in Kind. That's the 60-day storage. Items in storage are inventoried once a month, showing items coming in and items dispersed, including the fair market value end dates. Storage items should not be provided to staff unless specifically designed to support such staff. An example that I used before is during COVID, PPE was available to staff. Those items were given free by the Good 360 at that time. Disposal of donated items. If donated item is defective or obsolete at the time of donation, the item will be disposed at the time of donation and not included in the Gifts in Kind inventory. A list of the items will be kept for documentation. Decisions regarding the disposal of items will be made at the Gifts in Kind monthly meeting. The logistics department will enter disposal records into the Gifts in Kind inventory system by the last day of the month of disposal. Inventory. The logistics department will provide all inventory records, documentation, and valuation documentation to the finance monthly. Inventory records for the month will be provided to finance no later than the 10th day of the following month. Finance will review all inventory records and underlying documentations to ensure reasonableness and completeness. Finance will prepare the month-end journal entry to record all in-kind revenues and adjustments to expense and inventory. And then for physical inventory, finance will be responsible for completing a physical inventory of the Gifts in Kind inventory to be completed during the last week of the fiscal year. Finance will adjust the financial records when needed to accurately reflect the physical inventory. I do thank you for your listening through on this message, and ask that you take the time to please subscribe to our channel. Have a good day. Thank you.